Hey guys, welcome to my channel. How you guys doing? Thank you so much for coming back. I hope you are having a great day, a great night, whatever time you are watching this. So in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the books I read in September. Oh my god, I read 20 or 26 books. I'm not really sure, but maybe 20. I think it was 20. And I DNF'd some of my faves. Honestly, I would really like to know which ones you guys liked, okay, or I've read, and your opinions on them too. And if you are new, please do not forget to hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So let's get straight into the video. So I started the month strong with Vicious and Vengeful. This duology, I think it's called The Extraordinary. Yeah, so I read these two. Then I also read the novella Extraordinary. I'll put a picture here. So let's talk about this. So it's about some people, we call them extraordinaries because they've had some kind of near-death experience that makes them have some kind of superpowers. Now in book one, we have one guy that is just coming out of that was sent to prison because of his friend. They did this thing together, and there's a lot of backstory, but it was so freaking good and captivating, and I was so into the story. I really enjoyed it. I gave Vicious 4.25, then I gave Vengeful 5 stars, then I gave Extraordinary, this novella manga, I don't know what to call this, comic book, 2 stars, because in my own opinion I feel like it didn't have any correlation with this book. It's also about another extraordinary, but it wasn't done deeply, or maybe I don't know what happened here, but I really love this. And I think I remember saying something like, if I read these two books, it will help me determine if I'm going to buy another book by V. Schwab. And of course, because I read the book one and I said, okay, nah, this is good, I went to go and buy Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. So I'm excited for that. So the next book I read was, spoiler alert, I actually wanted to read this book. I'm going to show you guys now. I actually wanted to read this book, All the Feels, and it's by Olivia Dade. But this is a book 2. So, and I'm this kind of person that would not read a book 2 without reading a book 1 first. So I actually was like, let me read the book 1. And reading that, I think I was lost, okay? I was lost. That's the best way for me to put it, because I didn't understand anything. I was so freaking confused, like, because they were talking about Game of Thrones, and I've not watched or read Game of Thrones, so it was quite weird for me. So I decided not to read this one. But now let me tell you about spoiler alert that I read. So in spoiler alert, we see a girl, she's fat, and she's okay with that. She's happy that she's fat. Like, she doesn't feel, she feels self-conscious when people try to make her slim down and stuff like that. But then she writes fan fiction about one particular movie where the actor is one of the guys that she actually likes. Guy, but one day she posted something like a picture on Twitter, and this got a lot of backlash, but also at the same time a lot of praise. People liked it. So because of the backlash, this guy decides he's going to take her on a date. But not only because of that, he actually naturally was attracted to her. So they start to talk to each other and all that. It was actually a nice story, but the whole Game of Thrones fan fiction thing just derailed me in a way. And also the fact that his own lifestyle, because he is into acting, it's his physical image, it matters, and so he's into fitness. Every time he says something like, oh, let's go and eat, or let's go to my gym, she felt attacked. So I loved how he actually made her understand that this is just my own life. I'm not basically trying to change who you are. I like you as you are. But I'm digressing. Anyway, I gave that one 3 stars. Yes, I gave it 3 stars. I read it on my Kindle. Monsters. Oh, so I read Blood of My Monsters, Lie of My Monsters, and Heart of My Monster, this trilogy, and it was actually really spectacular. So the book 1, Blood of My Monsters, I gave that one 4.5. The book 2, I gave it 3.75, and the book 3, 3.5 stars. Now this is about a particular girl that goes to the, what do they call this place, to the military zone. she becomes a soldier because she's trying to hide from people that are trying to kill her. These people have killed her family, and so she also wants to discover the truth about the death of her family. So in this, she's of course pretending to be a guy. I really, really liked it because if you guys know me, I love Mulan. So anything that is like Mulan, in my own opinion, I love girls that can fight. I love girls that like try to be like men, but you know, in this kind of way, not the other way, you know. Yeah. So she's hiding, and also she sees this guy. She's being bullied by other soldiers because she's too feminine to be a guy, right? So that's how the captain Kirill sees her one day, and is like, he punishes the other guys, but he was not really interested in having anything to do with her. So she kind of like goes to meet him and says, okay, please train me. So that's how they started, you know, training and all that. So that's how the story goes. I loved the book 1 so freaking much. That's why I gave it that high rating. But book 2 and 3 kind of fell flat, because in book 3 I don't even understand if it was the same character we're talking about. But in book 3.75 I already knew who the killer was. So it was not a surprise for me. It was not a plot twist for me. It was just a matter of, okay, are you all blind? Like, it's so freaking glaringly obvious. But regardless, I really, really enjoyed myself reading it. And most trilogies, you know, it's like, oh, the story ends here and then another person's story. No, this one is purely their story alone, and it was nice. The next book I read was The Girl on the Train. Oh my god, I read the physical copy of this. Guys, this story is about a particular woman that goes on the train every morning, and from the train window she sees a particular house, and she's always looking at a particular couple, and in her whole mind she creates a narrative for them. Oh, this is Juliet, and this is this. They are very, very happy couple, and blah blah blah. And also the neighbor of that couple is very, very spectacular. It's very spectacular to her story also. So one day one of the woman goes missing. So she's like, oh my god, I saw her with another man and all that, blah blah blah. So she goes to the police and she talks about this. She knows this woman, and it was just freaking annoying. The only thing I liked about this book was the audiobook narrator. She was so freaking, like, they are good because there are 3 different women, 3 different POVs, but I did not connect with any of these characters. I did not like the main female character. I didn't like any of them. I was just freaking like, okay, like, it's not your business. You just go and put your mouth inside. And this made me realize that maybe thrillers are not really, really for me, or some kind of thrillers are not for me, because where the characters are unreliable, unstable, pugnosy, and all that. Please, it's not your business. It's not your business. But it was it was not a nice read. I gave it 2 stars. The next book I read was this one, The Undertaking of Hart and Mercy by Megan Bannon. Okay, so this is I think I'll call it a romantasy. I really enjoyed this book actually. So it's about a guy named Hart. He's an undertaker. Is he an undertaker? Or he's more like a killer of all these ghosts, or they call them one name, I've forgotten. Is it ghoul? So he kills these things. These things infect the human body and try to take over your body, and after a while they'll try to enter into another person. So he always kills these people, and he's alone. While the girl, she is an undertaker. Is he undertaker? Yeah, she's an undertaker. All these people that actually bury, oh yes, all these people that bury bodies and all that. So, and her father's business is actually crumbling already, but you know, they're trying to stay afloat. So on the first day these people met, it's also funny because they are enemies. But the way they became enemies is kind of like a misunderstanding, which I don't actually mind. In this way, I feel like this one was done well. So the 2 of them just kind of like started hating each other right from the onset. So they never really liked each other. Now, one day, Hart actually decides to write a letter to a friend that he does not have because he's so freaking lonely. So this letter actually goes to Mercy, and it was not addressed to her. It was just magically, like, from the heart, directly like that. These beings, spiritual beings, know who you are writing a message to. So that's how they become pen pals, and they fall in love with each other on paper. then they're supposed to meet and all that. The story continues from there. I really enjoyed this. I really loved it because it made me realize so many things. And also the fact that you can find a friend in the most unlikely of places, and you're not the only one going through something. I gave this a 4.5 stars. Really loved it actually. And the whole the whole world was different from any other world I've read about before. Also, yeah. So the next book I read was Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. Yay! This is one of my favorite books also. So in this story, we follow this particular lady. She's an artist, and she's a face artist. So she draws people's faces. Yeah. And one day she has an incident that she actually cannot see people's faces anymore. Like, she becomes face blind. And this guy is a veterinary doctor that is interested in her. So I enjoyed this so freaking much because, aside the fact that it was witty, at one point it started sounding like a Sophie Kinsella book, but thank God it was not. It was actually also very, will I say, realistic in a way that you learn some life lessons from it. I had a lot of annotations in it. Oh my God, not a lot per se, but meaningful words in it. How she tries to trust other people and all that. It was a very nice read. I didn't expect it to be a 5 stars because my last experience with Catherine Center was the Honeymooners, and I gave that a 3 stars because it was just freaking ridiculous. But this was perfectly done. I loved it. I laughed a lot too. It was very funny. The next book I read was Alone with You in the Eater by Olivia Blake. Guys, I still have one more book by Olivia Blake that I'm going to try to read before I decide that she would never be on my TBR again, because this was 2 stars. Okay, so it's about this guy. I think he has a mental health problem, which I'm not really even sure, because at the end of the day, it was just talking about time. There were so many noteworthy things to annotate in this, but it was like just going round and round and round. The female main character is not likable because she too also has a mental health problem that she's taking pills for, and then one day she stops taking the pills because she feels like she connects with the guy, and then the guy is a professor that works in a university and he works with time, but because of something guys, I was just freaking bored. The story was just going. It had a lot of noteworthy stuff, like things that I should write, I should think deeply, but when I'm not even connecting to the story and the story was just going all over the place, I didn't enjoy myself. So I am selling this copy actually. Yeah, 2 stars. The next book I tried to read A Most Agreeable Murder. I DNF to this. So it's about so it's Regency, yeah. And this girl is one of the daughters, and she's interested in murder mystery and all, but her sisters are, to get married and all that. I DNF'd at page 100 because it was so freaking slow and boring. I did not enjoy myself. I think there was supposed to be a murder that will happen, and then she'll probably solve it, or she'll work hand in hand with the gentleman that just came in, and the man looks so freaking suspicious according to the book. But I was not vibing with it, so I just said, okay, fine, go. The next book I read is on my Kindle, Our Soul to Take. Oh my God, this is a monster romance. I liked it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Yes, I read on my Kindle actually. Let me take a tea. Do you know what I mixed in here? So the tea is actually mango black tea, right? Then I put lemon, and I put like a piece of pineapple because I have pineapple in the refrigerator, so I put a piece of pineapple in it. Then I also added ginger, and it tastes amazing actually. It's not sweet. I can hardly even taste the pineapple in it, but it smells amazing also. So yeah. Cheers. I have a coffee cup and I don't take coffee frequently. I actually take coffee, but not frequently. Okay, so back to our gist. I was talking about A Soul to Take. I gave this a 4.5 stars. It's about this demon. Yeah. Would I call him a demon or... Yeah, it's a demon. So he's always going to a particular city, or will I say small town, where they will give him a bride, and in exchange he would put a protection over them so they will not be eaten or killed by other demons. So this girl is meant to be this offering, and in her village they don't like her because demons, wherever demons are, demons don't eat her. They never eat her. Like, she was there with her parents and demons killed all her family except her. And so this demon comes to her and he wants to make a choice, and he accepts her and takes her to his kingdom. And in his kingdom, of course, she's a very stubborn person. She almost died so many times because they are also demons. Anyway, that's not the gist. So the thing is that I really, really enjoyed this story because it was funny, it was sexy, it was hot, there was a mystery also about other other women that he brings to his kingdom. What happened to them? Because he comes every 10 years to collect another woman. Why? What is the reason? So we see why, and I enjoyed that. I gave it 4.5 stars. Yeah, my battery's about to die actually. So my battery actually died and I forgot to continue recording after that moment. So we're back. I'm going to continue from where I stopped. The next book I read is Me Before You. I gave this 4 stars. I remember people saying that this was a movie or is a movie. So I saw the what would they call this? Is it blob? Not blob. Preview of the movie. Synopsis? No. I saw the ad. I forgot the word. Please remind me of this word. I saw this on YouTube and it looked so freaking good. So I started the book some time ago, like a few months ago, but I never really continued. So I decided to continue this month and say that I did not connect the way I thought I was going to. So it's about this particular man that used to be very, very active, and then he had an accident and he felt like a vegetable and he didn't want to live, so he wants to actually kill himself. He wants to die, but officially, legally. So his family employs this particular girl to come and chat him up, make him perky and all that, so that he would reconsider. So he gave his family 6 months if he can change his mind. So in that 6 months, this girl actually did everything. It was actually fun, but I felt like the love was not there in the book. But when I watched the preview of the movie, it seemed that their love was freaking there. So and I also expected to cry, like bawl my eyes out, because they say it's a very, very sad book. I did get teary, but I did not cry. So yeah, I gave it 4 stars. The next book I read was Every Summer After. This book has always been compared to Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren. Guys, so in this book, it's about this particular girl and guy. The girl's family has a house in like a cabin in a local area, and that's where she met this guy. So the two of them are about the same age, I think 1 year apart, I don't know. So she falls in love with him, and then she has to go back to the city and come back. The relationship got destroyed at one point, and then so now we're in the future. So we keep going back to the past and future, and we see what happened, what made them break up initially, what happened and all that. I have to say that in my own opinion, this book is very different from Christina Lauren's book, because this one had more of the nostalgic feeling, but then again, it had a trope that I freaking did not like: cheating. I don't like cheating tropes. So I'm not going to say who cheated or what happened, but basically the reason for their breakup was so freaking disgusting and irritating. But then the whole nostalgic feeling of having the first love, you're having a crush on a boy and stuff like that. Yeah. And also I have to say that I gave it 4 stars, but now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like maybe it's a 3.5, because when my friend read this same book, because due to my own recommendation, she read it and she said she was really, really annoyed with how the guy was so freaking timid. He was too timid to go for what he wanted, that kind of thing. And then making me realize that I actually also hated that. Like, why don't you just pick up? But of course, they were kids. So, not kids, they were like young. So, you can't blame them for that, right? So, I gave this 4 stars. I'm still going to stick to my 4 stars. The next book I read was Nocticadia. Oh my god. So, this is a gothic, dark book. It's about a particular girl she witnesses something coming out of her mother, and she felt like it was a nightmare. So nobody would believe her if she says this, but she kind of made a fictional like a fictional comic book about it, and this got her admitted into one notable university called Nocticadia. Now this Nocticadia, yeah, it is so freaking dark. They have secrets, they have a lot of things that it's questionable. They have societies, secret societies, and all that. There was a murder that happened one time, but there's this particular professor, Dr. Death, that's what they call him, is nice, sexy, hot, fuck, yes. So she meets with him, and then they have this kind of relationship. So so many things happen in this book that it's made it a whole different vibe. I have to say, I did not like their romance, and I'm a romance girly, or I don't even know at this point because I'm still discovering who I am. Anyway, I did not like their romance because it felt situational. It felt like it was slow, then bam. There was no, I didn't feel it. I didn't feel their chemistry. I didn't feel their chemistry. But I gave it a 4.5 stars. My friend gave it a 5 stars. She said she loved it and blah. But then again, she's not a romance girly, so of course, I don't blame her. Yeah, so a friend of mine actually later told me that if I'm reading Carrie Lake, any Carrie Lake's book, I should just zero my mind on the romance. The romance is always trashy, but I mean the chemistry is always trashy because she writes the chemistry like an outline, which is weird. But every other thing was nice. The mystery, the whole determining who killed who, I loved. It was dark, gothic, everything. In fact, Dr. Death was saying everything right. He was saying everything right, but aside from the chemistry between them. Yeah. The next book I read was now Say You Swear. I gave this a 3.75 stars. In this one, how would I explain the fact that so it's about this girl. She had a crush on her brother's best friend, but this brother's best friend is afraid to approach her because of his friend. So apparently she kept on nurturing this until one day, when they are 18 of age, they go to their cabin house, okay, because their parents are friends also, so they collectively gave them that cabin. So and then she decides to make a move to this guy, but it didn't turn out as she hoped. Now she meets another guy that is really, really interested in her, and he's not afraid to go for what he wants, and he did go for what he wants. But so many other things happened, right? Like the fact that there was character development in this book, or we see how naive and how childish the book was in the beginning, then up to the point of the end where things started going, things started happening. I have to say I liked Noah so much, and I feel like Noah deserved better. That's all I'm going to say. He deserved better because he went through a lot. Oh my god. And he's such a gentleman, and he can cook. Yes. And so that was, I gave it a 3.75 because even at the end, some things I did not really, really agree with happened. But yeah, it's okay. The next book I read, Love of My Afterlife. Okay, so this just is so funny. Okay, so this girl chokes on a burger and she dies, and she goes to the afterlife, and in the afterlife she discovers in the afterlife another, like, she meets a particular, will I say, afterlife guide. Yeah, so this lady was talking to her and showing her life, and apparently her life was so freaking bland and boring. So another man suddenly dies and comes to the afterlife, and they kind of have this connection, she and this man. So she was like, okay, if she's going to stay here with this man, no problem. Of course, there's a connection. But nope, the man was actually just unconscious in Earth. So apparently, this guide has to send him back. So sending him back means that he's not going to remember anything that happened, even though he had this connection with her here. So poof, he goes. So she's now talking to the guide and saying, please, you just sent back my love, the love of my life. Okay, fine, send me back. Let me go and meet him. And the guide is saying to her that, okay, I'll make a deal with you. If in 7 days you are able to get a kiss from him, you remain on Earth. But if not, you come back to hell, and you have to help me with what I want to do here. So she was like, okay, yeah, no problem. She'll get a kiss. So she goes back to Earth, and then there's also a neighbor that a guy that she doesn't really like. So she asks for his help, and then they have to fake date at one point. So it was actually really hilarious, but at the same time ridiculous, because there were so many things. Like, she just kept acting bitchy, like, I don't care about you kind of vibe. But later in the end, of course, that's changed, and of course the love interest is not who we think he is. Yeah, it was actually really a nice story, but I just didn't connect so much like that. It was just, yeah, I gave it 3 stars. The next book I read was Beg, Borrow, and Steal by Sarah Adams. This is the third book in the When in Rome series. Honestly, I really enjoyed this. I have to say the banter in this was chef's kiss. Perfect, actually. So, how do I explain this? So in this one, she has a nemesis in school. That she's a teacher, and because of the things that happened in book 1 and 2, she's like the one that fixes other people's problems. And so these guys are competition in school. So something happens where he has to come to a small town, that's Rome, Kentucky, and live there. And she's like, no, this is my town, this is all I have left. Besides, all her siblings are actually going and living their lives except her. But so she decides to stay. So they start banter. Honestly, I love their banter. And there was a part where I thought it was going to be like normal third act breakup and all, but it was not like that. I like how the author made it not third act breakup-y. It was really good, but then nothing different. When you talk about romance, it's still the old same girl meets boy, they banter, blah blah blah. Nothing spectacular, but it was nice. 3.75. The last book I read was Golibe by Adesuwa Omanuokedi. So this one is not your natural, like, it's not your normal kind of book. So it's about this particular girl. She was adopted and taken abroad. So in abroad, she has another life and all. Her adopted parents now die, so she decides to come back to Nigeria to look for her birth parents. And this is how the drama started. I enjoyed the story because it felt like I was gisting with a friend. Oh, do you know this person? That kind of. So that's how it felt. But this lady, this main character, kept on acting childish. Like, she's 24 or 26, but she kept acting like an 18-year-old or a 17-year-old should act. And this pissed me off so many times, because so many decisions that she was supposed to make, so many things she was not supposed to say, she said them. And I was like cringing. And then the love. But aside that, I enjoyed the story. Yeah. So that's all I read. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which ones you are interested in from everything I've said, or the ones you've read. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Deuces.